Hey guys, so I have a body painting look for you guys today. I just wanted to paint some crystals and I wanted to paint a little landscape, so that's basically the explanation behind this look. I'm just sketching in all the components of the look, which is the moon, the crystal, the mountain, and the sea, and then we're going to be laying down some paint. So I'm using the Maybelline Paradise paint, and I'm using this dark yellow shade. I'm basically putting that where the mountains end. I just want like a little peak of like brightness, and then I'm taking the light pink and I'm putting that above it, and I'm blending each time with my little baby beauty blender, and then I'm going with dark pink and then lavender and then the purple shade. So I'm just creating a gradient in the sky. Once I get done laying down that Maybelline paint, I'm going in with the NYX SFX cream colors, and I'm going in with white, fuchsia, and purple, and I'm just tapping this all throughout the sky because it kind of gives it like a texture to it that sort of looks like clouds. We're going to add more of like a cloudy texture later, but this is giving the beginning of that cloudy texture. Your girl likes her gradients, so we're making another one in the ocean. So I'm taking that baby blue paint and I am like flicking it out because I'm creating like a light to dark gradient. So once I get done with the baby blue paint, I'm taking the teal paint, flicking that out and kind of into the baby blue to get them to blend, and then also the blue paint, the like darkish blue paint after the teal, and then we're going to take the purple paint and mix it with a little bit of the dark blue to get the last darkest color for the sea. And then we're doing another gradient, this time in the mountains. So I took 3 colors for these mountains. I took my gray paint, I took my baby blue, and I took a little bit of lilac and mixed them together for like the top part of the mountain, and then for the bottom part I just added some more of that dark purple paint in there. And then for the like outer ones that are darker, because again gradients are nice, I'm taking that purple and I'm mixing it with the teeniest bit of black because I just want like some very dark ass mountains over there. Now for some more of the NYX SFX cream paint. So I'm taking white and I'm just adding like a little bit of like a highlight to the top of my mountains, and I'm also adding a little bit to the baby blue, the water, because I wanted like a misty effect. I don't know guys, I was looking at some Bob Ross paintings and I just liked his misty effects. I was like, I want my water to have a misty effect. So I'm doing that, and I'm just like tapping down that white paint to get a kind of, you know, misty effect, you can see. Taking Meow from Kat Von D's Pastel Goth palette, I'm just tapping some of that onto our mountain to give it a little bit more tones, you know, because we need, mountains have like tones and levels to them. That's what we're trying to do. And then I took Skull and I'm just adding some like kind of more extreme highlights to those mountains. And then I took Star and I put it on that little yellow bit where like the sun is, I guess, going down. I don't know. This like scene doesn't make the most sense, but it's pretty, right? It has nice colors. And then I'm taking the Viseart Editorial Brights palette, and I'm taking the dark purple shade from it, and I'm just adding some dark purple tones to my dark purple water, and then I'm taking some of the blue and I added some highlights to the dark mountains, and then I took white and I'm just tapping that into my misty water, and then taking some more of that dark purple and creating more like levels and ridges to the mountains, the like lighter colored ones. Going into the Kevyn Aucoin Electro Pop palette, there's like a metallic dark blue in there, and I'm putting that on the very top level of those darker mountains as a highlight. And then I'm taking the dark purple and I'm just creating more ridges on my lighter colored mountains. And then we're taking the Kevyn Aucoin again, and I'm taking some of that like aqua metallic shade and I put that in the water. And then I took some of the black from the Electro Pop palette and I started to create like some darker, you know, levels to my dark mountains, and I kind of flick them into the lighter colored ones as like a little bit more of a gradient, you know? Alright guys, this is an Eye Magic cream palette thing that I got from Amazon like 4 years ago, and I just started using it. I don't know, I've kept it for so long. It's so good though. It's like $12. Are you serious? But anyway, I added some like extreme highlights to my mountains, my like light colored ones, and then I mixed and made like a lavender with the pink, the blue, and the white from the palette, and I'm just like wiggling my brush and flicking it down, and that's just making it look like it has like a rocky texture to it. And then I took the dark blue from the palette and I did the same on the darker colored mountains, because even though they're in the dark, we want them to have texture too. Then we took the teal and I just tapped that into the middle of the water where there's like, I guess, a splashy, misty effect happening. I don't really know what I was going for. I was just painting. And then I'm taking the white and I'm doing the same thing. just tapping that all around that middle area where I think I was going for like it looked like the crystal was coming out of the water, I think. Again, just painting, putting like very little thought into it, just doing what I think looks pretty. This is Kinetic. It is a Lip of the Day NYX liner, and I am just tapping that on the highlighted areas of the mountains, and I'm also doing that wiggly brush stroke to give it kind of a, you know, rocky texture happening, and I'm also adding some to the water just to give it more of like a metallic kind of highlighted look, and also to the darker mountains. I'm mainly keeping this on the very like tops of those darker mountains, again, to just give it a highlighted effect. I love highlights. I say this in like every single body painting tutorial because I feel like I highlight the shit out of everything. I feel like it really brings paintings together. But anyway, this is the Absolute New York Mint liner. I'm tapping this into the middle area where we have that like splashy, misty texture happening. I keep saying texture in the water where it's like splashing out. Taking Vivid Halo from NYX, I'm just doing what I can only describe as expressive, wiggly brush strokes. I don't know why I put that there, but it looks kind of cool, right? Then I'm taking the white liquid liner from NYX, and I'm tapping in some very extreme highlights, the very like tippy tops of those mountain ridges. I just wanted, you know, we're adding in the extreme highlights, so like top highlights of the highlights, the boss highlights right now. And I'm also adding in a little bit to that dark area, not a whole lot, definitely not as much as the middle area. And then I'm adding little dots to the middle part of the water just to really emphasize that splashing effect. Now to finally get onto these crystals. So I am taking some white Maybelline paint, and I am just basically filling in all of the crystals with white paint, and also the moon. I'm just laying down paint. For the first bit of color that we're going to be laying down with these crystals, I'm taking the Viseart Editorial Brights palette, and I'm taking the dark pink shade, and I'm just starting to kind of like sketch in all of the facets of the crystals, and I'm doing this with like a small kind of definer brush, and I'm just like quickly doing it. We're going to go in and like define it way more, but for right now we're just laying down roughly like where we want those like facets to be and those lines to be. Then when I start adding in like color, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, like the colors that I use, I'm using pastel colors, but I'm putting them down like wherever. You don't really need, there's like no rhyme or reason to it. You just want it to look like this form is catching all the colors and all the light that it can. But the first color I'm going in with is the NYX Ultimate Brights palette. I'm going in with like a light pink. I'm just coloring it in. I'd highly recommend looking at some sort of reference for these crystals, just something to like kind of base it off of. But anyway, so then I'm taking purple. I added some of the purple tones to the crystals, and I took teal from the Sephora watercolor palette, added a little bit of teal tones to those crystals. The only thing you don't want these colors to do is you don't really want them to overlap when you're laying them down, so you just want them to be like, you know, next to each other. Then we're going in with yellow. So I'm taking the yellow, doing the same thing, just adding it wherever I feel like to these crystals. Going back into that Viseart palette, I'm taking like the dark blue from it, and I am starting to add in like a little bit more like deep dark definition, just in very like certain areas, not all over the place at all. But this is just going to add a little bit more like, you know, darkness to kind of contrast that light that we have and that colorful effect. So I'm really keeping this on like where the facets of the crystal end or begin. I'm not really putting it, I'm definitely not putting it all over the place, and I'm not putting it like the middle areas. And then we're taking black, and I'm keeping this next part of shading specifically to the bottom crystals, not that middle crystal, because I just wanted like a little bit more like deep dark definition. And I just added that very subtly to certain facets and certain like outlines, just to make those look a little bit more like deeper down there. This pigment that I'm using is by Jessie Squirrel. It's called Secret Weapon, and it's like a white with a blue reflect. Putting this all over the crystals, it just gives it like a, I don't know, like iridescent quality to it that you would think of for a crystal. And then I'm taking the white cream paint from that iMagic palette, and I'm starting to create like highlights on each one of the crystals, and I'm doing this by putting like a quick little outline on all of the outlined areas with that pink that we outlined with, and then going like up and down in certain areas, like up like the middle of the crystals or near the facets where they end or begin. That's going to create a reflection. Alright, so you guys know I build up my highlights, so I'm taking that white NYX liquid liner and I'm doing basically what I just did with the white of the Eye Magic palette, but I'm adding it in like other areas where I didn't add the Eye Magic palette. I hope that makes sense. It's just really building up like that outlined, reflective, defined crystal look. I wanted to add more like strong definition of color into those crystals, so I'm taking the first shade I'm taking is the Absolute New York yellow liquid liner, and I'm just doing like a mixture of taps and outlines in each one of those like crystal sections. And then I also went in with the NYX liquid liner in Vivid Petal, I believe it's the pink one, and I'm just doing the same exact thing, just taps, like dots of color, and also some like outlines. I'm not doing it as intensely as I did with the white, I'm just doing it in very like few areas with each one of the colors. Yay, we're moving on from the crystals and we're going on to the moon. So I'm taking the NYX SFX cream paint in fuchsia and I'm just tapping this with my fingers. I love finger paint, you guys, but I'm just tapping this into the moon, basically doing it on the one side. This gives it like a cratery looking effect, those taps do. And then I took purple to add like a little bit more like darker tones of definition and craters. And then I took white to add some like more highlighty craters. And for the clouds, it's basically the same exact technique. I'm just like tapping and kind of dragging down, and it makes it have like a fluffy, cloudy texture. That technique does. It's really fun to do. I like love painting clouds. But I'm doing this all throughout the sky, like all over the place. I love painting clouds. And then I'm going in with the fuchsia, and I'm adding some like darker areas to those clouds. So it's not all just like pure highlight. And I also went in with the purple and did the same exact thing. This is Mayron's Clown White. It's just like a real thick ass cream white paint. And I'm just taking some of that and tapping it onto the moon to create like more of like a highlighted crater look. And then I'm also outlining the left side of the moon to create like some sort of a light source looking thing. I am also taking some of Vivid Blossom and I am tapping some of that onto the moon. Again, just to add to the texture, and also Vivid Petal. I'm doing the same exact thing, and then we're going in with the NYX white liquid liner and I'm tapping some of that in. With Mayron Clown White, I am taking my flat round brush and I am just taking that and dragging it down on the top of each one of the clouds. This is going to create a highlighted look to those clouds and just really give them some more something, you know? And then we're taking Vivid Petal from NYX and I am just doing dots all throughout that sky. I think it's sort of supposed to mimic like, you know, stars of some sort, colorful stars. And then once I get done doing that with Vivid Petal from NYX, I am taking which one? I'm taking the purple one, so Vivid Blossom, and I'm doing the same thing, and I'm also taking Vivid Halo, and I'm just adding taps of that all around the sky. And then we take the white one and we are adding some more extreme highlights to the clouds and also adding some dots to the sky as well. It just looks pretty, don't it? So at this point, I just decided that this whole thing just needs to be way more sparkly. So I took the Urban Decay Heavy Metal Glitter Liner in Distortion and I just tapped that all throughout the crystals and just gave it like a nice little glittery iridescence to it. And then I took Grind from Urban Decay and I tapped some of that onto the moon. And also I tapped some into the sky as well. We're finally on to my face, and look how fucking tired I look. So I just mixed together yellow, light pink, and white to get like this orangey pastel color, and I just put that all over my eyes. And I also glued down my brows but I kind of did a little shitty because I forgot to set them, so that's why they look a little crummy. But anyway, then I took the light pink and I put that all over my face. At this point, I realized that I just need a little something like thicker happening on my face. This like water activated paint just was not doing it for me. So I mixed together some like white cream paint and some of the pink paint, the pink watercolor, water activated paint, and I put that on all the places that you would highlight. So like around my eyes, bridge of my nose, forehead, chin, just all over. To set my face, I actually used a blush. I used Tarte's Doll Face, and I just put that all over my face, just tapped it on. And then I took Viseart's Editorial Brights palette, and I took the dark pink shade, and I started to contour. So I just did that like down the sides of my nose and on the underside of my nose, and I flicked it into my eye sockets. Once I got done contouring my nose, I took some of the yellow shade from the Editorial Brights palette, and I put that just all around my eyes, on my eyelid and on the under part of my eye. I wanted yellow tones on other parts of my face, so I took some of that yellow from the Viseart palette and I added some to my Cupid's bow and also the bridge of my nose. And then I took some of that dark pink and I just went back and forth in my crease. I wanted to kind of like darken up or brighten up my face, so I took some more of that pink and I just kind of added it all around the face just to really like deepen it up because I'm looking real like pasty pink. And then I took some of the dark purple from the Viseart palette and I started to contour my cheekbones. So I went like just, you know, diagonal down from my ear. And I blended it in. I decided to contour my nose a little bit more with that purple, and I added some like brow bone definition, and then once I got done that, I added a little bit more definition to my crease with the pink eyeshadow, and then we took some of that yellow, and we're just adding yellow all over, just to tie in all the colors a little bit more. Now for the eyes. So we were doing a very like simple crystal, little baby crystals on the eyes. So what I did was I did like kind of what I did on the chest, but I just did a like tiny translation for my eye makeup. So I did like a rectangle with like a little triangle on top, then I filled it in with the white paint, and then I took a mixture of pink, blue, and yellow eyeshadow, and I just put it like in random spots on the crystals for the eyes. And then I took the white paint and I outlined it and did like a very simple facet look for the eyes. So I did like a line going across where the triangle meets the rectangle, and then like a line going down in the middle area of the rectangle. We're gonna go back to the eyes, but I started in with stickers. So I put like a little moon sticker on my forehead, and then those stickers that I put on my cheeks, I decided to take them off because they just looked really weird and jarring. But I did little clouds on the cheeks, so I did that with the Maybelline Clown White Paint, and I did that by just taking that brush that I've been using all throughout this and just dragging it down and flicking it out at the end. Now for the bottom crystals on my lower lash line, I'm literally doing the same exact thing that I did on the top, but flipping it. Now for colorful freckles, so I'm using Vivid Petal, Vivid Blossom, Vivid Halo, and the white liquid liner, and I'm just putting dots on my cheekbones and on my forehead and also on my like nose bridge area. Dots are awesome because they just add like details in creative makeup where it's just kind of like details that you don't really need to think about. It adds a little something something to your look. I took the NYX white liquid liner and I just added like a little like highlight effect on my nostrils. I like doing this, just a personal preference thing. And then I took the Super Fan mascara from Smashbox and I added a coat of that on my lashes. to highlight, we're going to go back in with another thing later, but the first thing I did was I took the Maybelline Master Holographic in purple and I put that on my cheekbones, nose, and in my inner corner, and Cupid's bow. And then I went in with some like pearls and gems, and I put those just like in like a little quick formation on my forehead to create like a freckle sparkle thing. I put some sparkles, like chunky sparkle, on my nose bridge, like around my nose, so it looks like freckles, and then also on my cheekbones to create like a highlight effect. I really like it right now, it's so cute. But I applied that, like I stuck it on there with some lash glue. Alright, so this lip is a look. It's just a lot of different combinations of things. So the first thing I did was I took the Lime Crime Utopia Velveteen and I put that on my top lip, and I just like very carefully like outlined it and stuff and applied it. And I also put a little bit on the beginning of my bottom lip. Then I took the Christian Siriano and e.l.f. collaboration and I applied that to my bottom lip, but I kind of like smudged it out. And then I took a little bit of the Viseart Editorial Brights palette and I applied that to the middle of my bottom lip. I took the purple shade, applied that to the middle of my bottom lip and like smudged it around my lips. And then I took the Maybelline Master Holographic in purple and I put that on the middle of my bottom lip. And you guys, that's the finished look. Hello, do you guys like it? I hope you guys liked it. I liked painting it, honestly. It was a lot of fun. I like to call this look Lisa Frank barfed on me, just because it gives me some Lisa Frank vibes, because the colors are just so intense. But anyway, I hope you guys liked it. I liked painting it. Like this video if you like this video. Subscribe, makes me happy. Hit that little bell if you guys want to be notified when I make videos. And I hope you guys are having an awesome day. Alright, bye-bye!